and welcome back to the spring edition of Talking with Forest Park. Well, Ray, we have said goodbye to the beautification, but we've said hello to Rebekah Brown from the Public Works Department. Rebekah, glad you could join us.
Hi, thank you.
Well, of course, we were just talking about making things beautiful, and another way to make things beautiful here in the city is another wonderful program that the city has been offering called the Chipper program. We have kind of talked about it once before, and we've always put it on our bulletin board system, but for those who are new to the city or still questioning, that's why we brought the expert on here. Let's talk a little bit about the program.
Okay, sure. It has been around since 1996, and it's a very popular program with our residents.
Sure.
They, when they're cleaning their yards in the spring and through all the way up to the fall, they're able to put their branches and limbs out at the curb. The Public Works Department has a chipper that comes by on regularly scheduled days and picks up their item from curbside. And they just absolutely love the program.
It's much better than just disposal. That's for sure. Obviously, you know, it helps the people clean up their yard, but then obviously you're taking it and disposing it in different ways, correct?
Right. We chip it up and we store it here at the city, and then we use it around on the city properties.
So you're using it as mulch and bedding and things like that?
Correct.
Again, this sounds like a very, very unique program. How did it come about? And thankfully, we're still utilizing this.
I believe it was probably the brainchild of our environmental department.
I think we're mentioning right again.
Right. And I believe we helped with, starting up the program, of course, maintaining it and doing the work that comes along with it.
How long does it usually take? It's obviously goes on either weekly or throughout. How often are we going through the day with this? Because again, you've got to have your guys out there in Public Works going throughout the city.
It's twice a month. We go out to all of the residences in Forest Park. We have a schedule that we can share with you. And so twice a month, the first full week of the month, we go out, and the first full week of the month, and then 2 weeks after that. So basically the first and the third week of the month. And we, like I said, we can share the schedule.
Oh, yeah.
So that they know what day.
And once you get that going and you're utilizing it here, what a better way to keep beautifying the city. Now, obviously, you've got a lot of the equipment maintenance and everything. People are like, oh, how is that going to handle? You guys have that all covered. You're doing it. How many crew members are you taking out in order to make this run smoothly? Right.
Sometimes we run two crews, depending on, they kind of do a run through, and the foreman does, to see how much we've got out there. And depending on, how much is out there, sometimes we'll do two crews, sometimes just one. So, but the goal is to get through the schedule by the end of the day. So, whatever we need to get that done, we do that.
I'm sure with unforeseen things, like, again, I'll bring up something that we haven't heard in a long time. Hurricane Ike probably gave us a lot of difficulty, but and for the most part, you're probably not seeing a very large influx that you're over inundated with.
Well, if we have a storm, a thunderstorm come through or some high winds, that will cause some extra limbs to come down. And again, they're thankful. People are very thankful that, we have this program so that they can get rid of that, rubbish that they've got around, and we can take care of it and recycle it.
Of course, if after the program is done, during those off times, people are probably going to wonder what they can do rather than wait for the program. Can they call Public Works to have this disposed of properly, or?
Normally we only run it through April through September, because once September has come and gone, we then have to prepare that equipment that we have used for chipper. We have to use that for the snow.
Fair.
So we have to get all of that equipment ready, and can't really, for a full time, round the clock, do chipper service all year long.
Fair.
Yes.
So if someone were to have a limb or something, how should they dispose of it?
If it's large, we really just ask them to kind of keep it in their yard, maybe the backyard or the side of the house, and just wait until April rolls around. Or they can contact Rumpke and see if there's a way to break it up and maybe put it in with their garbage. So
With a program like this in the city, how does it, you're always looking for great ways to better beautify. Was this something that, again, we've mentioned Wright, that Wright came to you and said, this is one of the better ways to do it?
Well, it's a combination of things, because this isn't just a focus on beautification, but it's also on maintenance, if you will. And one of the things we didn't want people to resort to is just taking limbs and branches and throwing them down the creek and, in their backyard, and then they get washed into our sewers, and then you get stormwater issues and things along that line. So it's a combination in terms of beautification, but it's a real focus on the maintenance aspect of properties in Forest Park, and an encouragement for people that they can get in their yard and clear out the brush and things like that without having to do a lot of work in terms of them chipping it up or bagging it up and disposing of that matter. No, just cut it down, bring it to the curb on schedule, and Public Works will take care of it. And if you have any questions, then you got very knowledgeable people like Rebekah that you can call, and then they can give them advice on their personal situation.
Rebekah, if there are people who want to get in contact with you or the Public Works Department, what's the best way to get in contact?
Phone number is 513-595-5258, and then a very simple email is rbrown@forestpark.org. You can reach me either way.
And again, we have the schedule for the Chipper Chipper program on our bulletin board, but we can add that in other places so that, again, people get the information out there.
Yes.
to be a part of this. And again, how long are we going through this?
This will be through the end of September. Yes.
And so we're well into our season. Are you seeing anything different or anything change over the years?
Just really, if we give a little bit of advice for the residents, don't tie up the items. Don't put wire or rope around the items. Have them loose so the guys can quickly, come around and grab the items. Have the limbs as long as you possibly can, so it's easier for them to chip. And don't have a stack more than 3 feet high and 15 feet long. We only have 10 minutes per house.
Okay.
So if you've got more than that, you might want to wait until the next week so that it's not left out at the curb.
In other words, management.
Exactly.
I think Rebekah can talk about this a little bit too, in terms of this is a limb and brush program, not a tree removal program.
Exactly.
Why don't you comment on that, because I know you've gotten a lot of calls on that.
That's probably one of our biggest issues that we have is someone will remove a tree from their yard, and it's not designed, this program's not designed for that. Really, whoever's removing the tree, you should have them remove the very large pieces. Because it is so limited. We've only got the 10 minutes at the house, and then we've got to move on to make sure we serve all the residents. So really just for the limbs, and if a tree comes out of a limb comes from the tree that's fallen, not for a total tree removal.
And one of the things too, I think you would agree, our equipment is designed for limbs and brushes, but not large tree trunks. And if you get to one property and you put the wrong material in there, you damage the equipment, now we're out of commission.
Right.
Can't serve anybody else in the community.
Right.
And I know you've had some experiences where people have attempted to cut large trees down.
Yes. Only 12 inches in diameter is the maximum.
Branches, not trunks.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's interesting that if someone were to probably be professionally having a tree removed, you would think they would take the tree with them, but I'm assuming you're not seeing that sometimes.
Sometimes we are, but other times, it's left for the resident to deal with, and really you should have the tree contractor take the tree with them.
So remember, branches, not trunks. And if you have any other questions, again, Rebekah,
give me a call.
And one last thing, Rebekah, if you talk about this in terms of limbs and branches, tree roots and that type. Why don't you comment on that?
Yeah, just keep it very simple, just the branches and the limbs. We don't want any lumber. We can't accept that. Plywood, fence posts, nothing like that. And
keep it natural.
Yes, anything that maybe has metal in it, nails, that wouldn't be a good idea either for the equipment. That could be harmful to our employees as well.
We also, again, because since you are reusing this and repurposing it, again, with not only will the nails or anything else cause rust or problems to the equipment, but were it to go through and putting it into mulch, it's not
Right.
going to
Right.
function properly.
Exactly. Because we're using these on city property.
And you
so.
should be removing that type of lumber and elsewhere in another location.
Yes. Right. Exactly.
Well, it looks like, I think as long as everybody understands, again, we will be giving you that information in regards to your section of town in order to get the Chipper Chipper program going. And I want to thank Rebekah for joining us here at
Thank
the
you.
round table here at the beautiful city of Forest Park. Ray, thank you for letting us come out to your backyard and enjoy this beautiful day. This has been the spring edition of Talking with Forest Park, the program that allows you to talk with those in the know in your city. Have a great evening, and we will see you